Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And we're working with some beautiful and yet complex energies. It is the Libra new moon. Welcome, Kiki. Welcome, Olivia. Welcome, Alicia. And so there's this beautiful energy that's playing out. You saw me kind of hesitate for a moment, because it's about choice. And as you'll see, what was very interesting, normally when we end one of the shows, somewhat immediately into the next show, I'm looking at the astrological energies, I'm looking at what might be happening, I receive information about what the next week's show is going to be. This time around, crickets, nothing. I knew it was the Libra new moon, but nothing. And so we begin, it's number 6 from the unseen. Before we get into all of the energies, is just this, it all begins with, quote, a clean slate, a blank canvas. And there's this aspect of the anticipation, the waiting, the deep desire to move forward, this, and the purity of that, because we're in such a time of challenge and confrontation and the cleaving and the clinging of the old. And we've talked about this a lot, that Piscean patriarchal divine masculine aspect, but it's the what is being cleaved to is the height of the goo of it, the shadow of it, the decline of it. And so here with this Libra new moon, and Libra represents, equality and justice, the legal system, harmony, balance, all of these beautiful aspects. And of course, it's like the images of a scale. And so it all begins with a clean slate, a blank canvas. And when you stop to think of an artist or a writer or a musician, any one of us, when we stop to think about creating something new, a piece of music, a piece of art, a plan, a vision, it begins with a clean slate, a blank page, this blank canvas. And so the unseen is drawing our attention to the fact that these energies, and as we move into, these last months of 2025, a 9 year, which is completion, into 2026, when all the major planets officially complete their retrogrades and officially move forward into their new signs, this blank canvas, this clean slate, and how we might envision that. What does it look like? What do we look like? What do we want from this clean, fresh perspective? So let's jump in. We're going to look at the main energies. It's October, it's treading, cautious advance. We're going to be working with master number 22, this grace and beauty. It's master number 22 that we're going to work with. It's a 9 year, all year long. And then we're also going to work with hexagram 32, which is endurance. It's about the duration. It's about going the distance and how we commit to going the distance. And 14, this great possessing shine, that our innate, authentic beauty, divinity, is what will emerge, is what we're being called to bring forward, and that in the process it culminates in that 5, that nourished while waiting, patience. And here is the astrological chart for the Libra new moon. And you see there are 3 triangles in the inner center ring of the chart. One of them is the red triangle, and between the lot of fortune, the ascendant, Pluto on the left, opposite Jupiter on the right, and at the top of the chart is the new moon, where the sun and the moon are together, the Libra new moon. This frictional triangle, these squares, because there's squares and there's opposition. And then you have, of course, that grand trine in the blue. The big triangle in the center is a grand trine, and then you have the mini grand trine. So what the unseen was saying about these energies is they said tilted new beginnings, live versus memorex, choose. And so this Libra new moon is giving us this choice, tilted new beginnings, tilted because there are 3, We talked about the trifecta effect, things that happen in threes, but this tilted new beginnings. This is all about new moons are about new beginnings, but this one in particular is speaking to us about the harmony within ourselves, the purity within ourselves, the grace, the goodness, the identity, not ego, mind, personality identity, but soul source identity, our authenticity. And so it's this whole live or Memorex because we're going to have and be presented with choices. They may come in threes. And this speaks to the Seven of Cups in the tarot. The Seven of Cups in the tarot, you see seven cups, and there are, let's say attractive, wonderful things in a cup, and there are less than wonderful things in a cup. So it can represent both opportunity, possibility, but also illusion and deception. And so discernment. This discernment is key when we're working throughout these next with this Libra new moon, but also, these next 5 months, 4 to 6 months, we're really looking at what does my soul wish to do? Not my ego, mind, personality. That's the old story. That's the previous era, the one we're leaving. The new era, matriarchal, divine feminine, Aquarian, we the people, soul, source, connection, soul leads. What does my soul wish to do? What did it say it would do? What did it come here to accomplish? And the issue will be that you will see it from a perspective of when I follow my soul source connection, my soul, my intuition, my knowing, you'll recognize we the people, you'll recognize how perhaps what's been buried or hidden, because that's a big thing. Pluto in the 12th house. Let me just show that. Pluto's over there in the 12th house. The 12th house reveals what's hidden. Pluto reveals what's been hidden, the goo. It brings it up into the light to be cleansed, purified, so that it all begins with a clean slate, a blank canvas. And so we're being asked, really forced, but asked to look at our choices, our shadows, what we've been doing from ego, mind, personality, divine masculine, patriarchal, us, and cleanse it, purify it so that we begin with a new canvas so that the soul comes forward, comes out, and it will be in service to the many, the all, we the people. In reciprocity, will receive, the individual will receive. And just imagine the kind of, it's shine, it's great possessing shine. So let's just go to that really quickly. Let's go to hexagram 14, which is affluence. And this is from divination.com. Supreme success, like the proverbial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. A person whose fortunes have turned for the better shines brightly now. At the core of true success lies unselfishness, generosity, and modesty, humility. It is the tendency of a flexible or yielding nature to draw powerful forces to it, especially when prosperity begins to manifest. When this added power is wielded with grace and dignity, we're talking about when we wield the power of our soul with grace and dignity, we have supreme success and great abundance. But be careful. Along with any accumulation of wealth or influence can come an increase of pride and arrogance. This is the goo that we're battling right now from the previous era. Because when we believe that is I, the human, I, that is doing X, Y, or Z, versus recognizing that is the divine force coming through us, working, moving through us, the host, the master weaver, the creator. We are the co-creator, we're the guest, we're the participant, we're the custodian. So when we receive and then we believe our own, stuff, that it's us instead of source. Well, we come into pride and arrogance, we fall. However, when we align with that force, that influence. It brings about success and abundance, and it's pure because we remain pure. It says, fight this tendency if you want your good fortune to continue. Stay attentive enough to manage your affairs well, and remember that while prosperity beats the alternative, it is only one element of a satisfying life. And this is our third quote. We're going in reverse order here. A lasting prosperity is one that honors the highest values and furthers the collective good. This is divine, feminine, matriarchal, Aquarian era energies. A lasting prosperity is one that honors the highest values and furthers the collective good. It's by furthering the collective good that we all win, we all rise, and that individually, when we stay aligned with those energies, we continue to receive, we continue to do good because we're doing it from humility. We're doing it from a place of goodness and I am courage, strength, just presence. I am. It's not outside of us. This is where the influence, the affluence lives, resides. Now let's also look at hexagram 32, endurance. And this is our first quote. Endurance is cultivated when determination is coupled with flexibility. And you see this snail, if you will, uh, crawling uphill, pushing this little boulder, this little ball, and how the sky is above, as above, so below, the sky, the earth, the green knoll. Endurance is cultivated when determination is coupled with flexibility. Long distance runners must adapt to changing conditions while maintaining a strong sense of purpose. Two trees growing near each other bend and adapt to enhance each other's survival. A strong image of durability is the stable relationship of intimate partners that strikes a dynamic balance between involvement in the outside world and nourishment in the home. See, Libra energies, this harmony, this balancing, it's striking that right balance. And it's dynamic, it's active, it's fluid. It's not stagnant, it's not fixed. It's not, oh, this is the way it is, and this is the only thing that works, and I stay that way. The life isn't fixed. It's fluid. It's ever changing and evolving. Hexagram 32 from divination.com. True endurance is not based on rigidity because endurance implies flexibility. It's not being locked in a position. This is our second quote. Only by adapting to change can we stay in the race. And you see this beautiful, like, iridescent green butterfly, of course, caterpillar to butterfly, and how we take flight. So it's only by adapting to change can we stay in the race. Because, of course, the caterpillar became the butterfly, which means it's continuing, it's staying in the race. And only by deepening our sense of purpose can we call forth the strength to win it. So it's when we connect with our soul source connection, our true purpose, our true meaning, our true authentic selves, and we bring that forward. Continuity is achieved through movement, not by keeping still. That which has ceased to grow is degrading towards death. It's stagnating. Be actively changing means be proactive, but stay strongly connected with your roots, your deepest thoughts and feelings. Your roots is who you are at your center. It's not who your ego, mind, personality, human tells you you are. It's not what you've amassed. It's not worldly possessions and so forth. It's not masks and identities and labels and scripts and status and all that. This is about be proactive, be ever changing, be in the flow, and stay strongly connected to your roots. Your roots, who you are at your center, your soul. That's who you are. So now let's move into our and let me just make sure I didn't forget anything. New beginnings, live versus MEMOREX. Well, here's our main theme. Hard to resist, dot, dot, dot. A major reset. So this there's going to be these aspects. Remember the Seven of Cups. This There's going to be opportunity. There's going to be, things that may happen in threes. There's going to be these things that are presented to us. Well, hard to resist. And it's in essence, it's also hard to resist a major reset, a new beginning. Meaning it's joyous. It's like, who doesn't after, been there, done that, and life's humming along, and life can be good. Okay. And then something comes along unexpected, out of the blue, or a dream, a long forgotten dream or something, and all of a sudden the universe, the unseen, goes boop and places it in front of you. Hard to resist a major reset, this a major change. And so again, this Libra new moon, the energies, and this master number 22 is setting the stage, the foundation, the blank canvas from which we will leap, create. And let's look at master number 22. And so, master number 22, also known as the master builder, is a powerful number in numerology that represents the ability to manifest dreams into tangible reality. It's going to come from the ethers, dreams, from the unseen, from our soul, and it's going to become tangible reality. We're going to bring it into the earth, to the 3D, through a combination of intuition, discipline, and practicality. Again, with the Seven of Cups, discernment. So intuition, listening, soul source connection, practicality, and then that discipline, discernment, being able to take the right steps at the right time. The Master Builder. This designation signifies the ability to turn grand visions into reality through meticulous planning and hard work. It blends the imagination of number 2 with the practicality of number 4. We often talk about number 4 as being foundational, 4 legs on a chair type thing, and making it a unique and powerful combination. Master number 22 has the potential for great influence and success in fields requiring vision and structure, such as business, law, politics, medicine. Very futuristic, Aquarian futuristic, evolving um, practices or methodologies and so forth. And last but not least, this number's path can involve facing significant life lessons and challenges, requiring individuals to learn to trust their intuition and balance their practical and emotional energies. This is all about listening and believing. Blessed are those who believe but do not see. It's about following the knowing. It's about knowing this is what I'm to do, and I go forth and conquer. The number is associated with the power to take spiritual ideas and bring them into the physical world. It represents a powerful vibration of balance, success, and harmony, suggesting that well-calculated risks are more likely to be successful. See, this isn't about just running roughshod or not listening. This is in complete, total alignment. I'm listening, divine feminine, then I know what to do or not do. That's divine masculine. It's in service to, in concert with the divine feminine, and magic happens. All from this blank canvas, this clean slate. And it's a lasting legacy. Efforts associated with this number are often aimed at creating something that leaves a lasting and positive legacy. So imagine again, we all, we hear stories about people on their deathbeds and everything, the regrets and what they wish they would have done. And then yet we also have that thing of, when we're proactive, what will be my legacy? And will it be positive? And once we align that will, so that's masculine, that will, that I want a positive legacy, then I need to listen. What did my soul say it would come to do? What would it offer? How brightly would it shine when I align myself with that energy, with those thoughts, with those actions? And that's what this Libra new moon doesn't come without its challenges. Master number 22 doesn't come without its challenges. However, those challenges are opportunities to leave or to participate in a positive, lasting legacy, one that lives on beyond us. And it doesn't matter your station, it doesn't matter what you do in life. Your positive legacy could be that you're so beloved by everyone you come in contact with that that's your positive legacy. You don't have to be a quote unquote celebrity or a politician or, a person of world renown to participate and create and leave a positive legacy. So it's again in choice because, as the astrological influences said, tilted new beginnings and this live versus memorex, choose, and the Seven of Cups, these choices that will be before us and how important the right decision is. It's number one from the unseen. They said a hard reset opens clears the way, a brand new you. And so a hard reset, this is a term that is in work in terms of software with computers and so forth. And I'll put my specs on so I can find it. There we are. A hard reset, also known as a factory reset or master reset, is the process of erasing all personal data and returning a device to its original factory settings. We are that device. And it's like the unseen says, it's the unseen saying to us, a hard reset opens clears the way. We've often talked about the analogy of where we've been is MS-DOS, Microsoft Office, to use an example. Where we're going is OS, Apple, this Apple operating system. They're two distinctly different operating systems. The prior and the new. And this a hard reset opens and clears the way. And so this is typically done, a hard reset is typically done to fix persistent issues, prepare a device for resale or disposal, or remove malicious software. So we can see thoughts, experiences, all of these things can be persistent issues or, malicious software, malicious influences, shadow, goo from the prior era. And so while some sources use hard reset to mean simply restarting a frozen device, something that might be stagnant, most people use it to refer to a complete data wipe, like a blank canvas, a clean slate, this do-over. And so what does it do? A hard reset. It does erase data, restores settings, fixes problems, removes malware. So the unseen is speaking to us in the sense that at all these major planets shifting, and that, and there's much in, historically, biblically, in many of the ancient texts that speak about an otherworldliness. And we have said many times, there's recordation of it happening before. We see it in our everyday lives, but we call it coincidence or synchronicity, or we dismiss it and so forth. And just because something quote unquote biblical hasn't happened since biblical times, so to speak, doesn't mean it won't. And so we have this kind of a hard reset. Number two from the unseen, magic's in the air. Time to blend with it. And then I heard and saw the Temperance card and the Magician. And here they are. The Temperance card and the Magician. So the Temperance card in the tarot. When Temperance appears upright, it's a signal to slow down, breathe deep, and find your center. The angel often seen on this card, sometimes interpreted as Archangel Michael, pours water between two cups, symbolizing the alchemy of patience, moderation, and spiritual flow. All of these things are relating to Libra, this Libra new moon, these Libran energies. And this is from tarot.com. One foot in the water, one on land, grounded yet intuitive. So divine masculine, divine feminine, in harmony, in balance, in unity, in oneness, in reciprocity with one another. This card is about integrating, not swinging from one extreme to the other. You need to find a rhythm that honors all parts of you. Healing is happening, but it's not a quick fix. It can be, but the point is to not rush things. It's to be in alignment with yourself, but it's also to not fear things. Don't hesitate looking at what needs to be cleansed, purified, so that you would achieve a blank slate, a blank canvas, a clean slate, and this hard reset, that it opens and clears the way. It's going to, pardon me, what they're saying to me, it's like flushing the toilet. That which is in it is removed. What comes? What comes? Clean, fresh water. It's that kind of. And lastly, it's about the temperance is about soften your grip, trust the timing. It's about divine timing. Blend wisely. And so we have this magic's in the air, time to blend with it. It means to become one with the magic that's on offer, that's available. And then, of course, we have the magician. And the magician, when the magician appears upright, it's like the universe just handed you a wand and said, go create something amazing. It's about that blank canvas, that clean slate. It's about your intuition, your soul source connection. What my soul come to do? Pushing or calling you forward. And so it's like the universe just handed you a wand and said, go create something amazing. Standing between heaven and earth, one hand pointing up and the other down. And I'm just going to bring the image back up of the two. The magician is the ultimate channel, turning inspiration into action, ideas into outcomes. On the table in most decks, tools representing all four suits of the tarot: a cup, a wand, a sword, and a pentacle, also known as your full survival kit of emotions, passion, intellect, and resources. Translation: you've got everything you need. We talk about this all the time. The Fool in the tarot, in the knapsack with the Fool embarking, getting ready to step out, quantum leaps. Well, it's everything that the magician, that's what's in the knapsack of the Fool. So translation, you've got everything you need. This card screams manifestation, confidence, and divine timing. Recite the spell, hit the send button, make the move. So this is, again, in right timing, divine timing, with your soul source connection leading the way. Create, manifest, make changes, be willing to leap, be willing to go, be willing to do these things. It brings us to our key word, which is a key phrase, um, which is in between. And that the symbol here on the screen with this is the sign for Libra, astrological sign for Libra. And so in between, and it represents, scales and balance and justice and harmony. It says situated, so in between, situated somewhere between two extremes or recognized categories, an intermediate thing, successes, failures, and in-betweens. A person or thing that is between two extremes, two contrasting conditions, between two clear or accepted stages or states, between two times mentioned. So what this means, so it's our key word, key phrase, in between. What the unseen was saying from number 3 is in between. In between the highs and the lows, the transitions. Remember to breathe. Remember to relax, enjoy, celebrate. And so there's this aspect of where that, and certainly when we're experiencing lows or, this in-between state or perhaps stagnation, we can forget to relax and enjoy and celebrate because it seems counterintuitive. It feels like, and yet, through challenge, through some of the greatest, air quotes, lows, comes our greatest transformations. And so the unseen is saying to us, remember, in between the highs and the lows, the transitions, and we are definitely experiencing a massive, major reset transition. Remember to breathe. Remember to relax, enjoy, and celebrate life, ourselves, the little things, the blade of grass, the sun shimmering on the trees, the change of seasons, whatever it may be. The love from that animal that's with us, that wonderful soul that's journeying with us. Remember that in between, to breathe, to relax, to enjoy, and to celebrate. Because there's an opportunity here for us um, to keep us, our heads above water instead of bobbing and going under. It's to enjoy, if you've ever just relaxed in water and you float. You're not thrashing. You're not, fighting against the flow of things, the natural buoyancy of things. When you do that, you kind of sink under and you stress and freak out. But when you just let go, you float. You're one with the water. You're one with everything. That's what the unseen is talking about. Our mantra: I persevere into the new. And this beautiful aspect about persevering into the new. Well, to persist. So, what does that mean? I persevere into the new. It means to persist with steadfast determination and strength to reach a new goal or enter a new phase of life, especially when facing difficulties. We are all facing the challenge of this moment, this massive reset. Everything's purposeful. It may be painful to bear witness to, but it's purposeful. This perseverance is not just about enduring hardships, but actively using these experiences to build character. It's about honing and polishing our stone, develop maturity, and ultimately achieve success or hope. To persevere is to persist in something despite difficulties, obstacles, or delays. It means to hold firmly to a purpose or undertaking. Into the new. This signifies a progression towards something different or unfamiliar, such as a new goal, a new stage of life, a new skill, a new operating system, a whole new world, or a new level of character. We're ascending, we're transcending, we're evolving, we're going back to where we began, an octave higher. And so I persevere into the new. It's transformation through difficulty. The act of persevering through challenge is what leads to personal growth. And think of it as a process. Trials lead to perseverance. Perseverance builds character. Character leads to hope. It leads to empowerment. It leads to achievement. And in simple terms, when you say, I persevere into the new, you are declaring your intention to move forward and achieve a new objective by using your inner strength, that inner wisdom, that soul source connection, and resilience to push through any challenges or opportunities that come or get in your way. Seven of Cups, discernment. I see what's what. That cup's not for me. Those two or three or five are, but those two aren't. And then how you step by step pursue, how you move forward with them. Number 4 and number 5 from the unseen, they go together. Number 4, and this has to do with, I'm going to bring this in with Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And number 4, a distant voice heard round the world, received telepathically. So it's number 4, it's foundational, and it's part of the master number 22. A distant voice heard round the world, received telepathically. And I just want to quickly give you a definition. Telepathically means in a way that involves the direct communication of thoughts, feelings, or images from one mind to another without using speech, writing, or other physical signals. We would call this in the spiritual world knowings, intuition. You can receive a complete understanding of something in a nanosecond, telepathically. Not words, not speech, not this interaction, this writing or physical signals. It's being received intuitively. So, number four, a distant voice heard round the world, received telepathically. Now, let me go to Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. I would love to. One moment, please. Here we are. She begins with cosmic messengers. 3 comets are now visible from Earth, and 2 of them, Lemon and Comet Swan, will be at their closest proximity to our planet this week. Since ancient times, these celestial visitors have been seen as omens of important events, either fortuitous or disastrous. Because of the long fan tails on comets, the Chinese called them broom stars, with the ability to sweep clean the energy of planet Earth. A hard reset. It all begins with a clean slate, a blank canvas. It's also, well, let me just get to it. Today, most astrologers see comets as being cosmic messengers that bring new information and awareness to humanity. It is intriguing at this pivotal time in human history that we currently have not only the 3 regular comets in view, but also interstellar object 3I Atlas. The latter, 3I Atlas, is stirring great interest, not only because it originates from somewhere beyond our solar system, I persevere into the beyond, but also because it has characteristics that make it more complex than, quote, just a comet. The question is, what information and awareness are these celestial objects bringing to humanity, and are we ready and open to receive? Both of these comets, so Comet Lemon and Comet Swan, appear with this green, glowing or vivid green color due to a diatomic carbon gas in their comas reacting with sunlight. Now, the one thing that I knew right after last week was that this week's show was to be the color green, which you see. Everything's in the color green. But again, there was this blank canvas, this emptiness. As I then was listening, and all of this came yesterday. And then it all assembled very quickly. And then here, Pam Youngins at North Point Journal, Astrology Journal, is speaking about Comet Swan and Comet Lemon and the interstellar object 3I Atlas. And these two, the first 2 comets, they come in this, they're appearing with this green and vivid green coloration from their gases. In astrology, comets are viewed as rare cosmic messengers that signal a shift in energy and can bring about new beginnings and transformation. Comet Lemon is associated with bringing truth and sudden clarity to personal situations. In contrast, Comet Swan is said to represent emotional cleansing and peace. Combined, the simultaneous appearance of these 2 comets is believed to encourage the releasing of old habits, finding inner balance, and moving forward with greater compassion. All of these things are culminating, all of these things are aligning, and are speaking to Libran energies, this Libra new moon, into the beyond. What's before us, what came before us, and what's literally before us. And last but not least, with Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, she speaks about Neptune returns to Pisces. So Neptune is retrograding. It's at the final degree of Aries, or it's at the first degree, pardon me. It's at 0 degrees Aries. It's going to go back into the final degree of Pisces. After being in Aries since late March, Neptune regresses into Pisces this week. When a retrograde planet returns to a sign it has recently left, it means that there is unfinished business involving the previous sign that must be completed before we can move forward. While Neptune is in Pisces, October 22nd to January 26, 2026, we will be releasing old patterns of apathy, passivity, escapism, and denial. We will also be revisiting old dreams and ideals, seeing whether they are still valid and worth carrying into the future. So this is the discernment, the 7 of Cups. This is listening to our intuition. And this is recognizing, was it my ego mind personality, that human, that wanted something, when I know my soul has been just relentless in asking me to show up, to go a different direction, to release something, someone, whatever it may be. and to move in a completely new direction, which would be like a hard reset. During these next 3 months, we are asked the months that Neptune is retrograde. We are asked to spend more time going within and connecting with our higher self, soul source connection, our soul. As we listen to the voice of our soul and surrender the ego, we align more fully with our divine nature. Then, when Neptune re enters Aries in late January of 2026, we will be ready to take action, supported by the deeper spiritual connection and awareness we have forged. That's the Temperance card, the forge. This is about, we put raw metals into the forge and we pound out the impurities, and what remains is a far higher quality. So we have this a distant voice heard round the world, received telepathically. When our soul speaks, it's speaking telepathically. We receive it in a knowing, an intuition, a gut. These cosmic messengers. Number 5 from the unseen is restoring cosmic order, advancing into the beyond. So all of these energies, all of this activity, all of these major planetary changes is about restoring cosmic order. And this does speak to the lot of fortune and the ascendant Sabian symbol, and about, for this Libra new moon chart, and about equilibrium, yin yang, harmony, balance, Libra, the scales, justice, equality. So it's going to restore, it's restoring cosmic order. Now let's look at etherealculture.com. And Juliana McCarthy, she is speaking, she's an astrologer, speaking about the Libra new moon, confrontation plus catharsis. And that's where we spoke, that tilting, tilted new beginnings, and which one are we choosing? And there's confrontation, there's friction, and yet there's opportunity, catharsis. October 21st, 2025, a Libra new moon arrives on Tuesday, squaring Pluto. Squaring is a frictional aspect. It's squaring Pluto in Aquarius, while a grand water trine forms in the background. Just going to bring up the chart so you can see it. That's that big, beautiful blue triangle in the center. This is what she's speaking to. This is a combination of combustion and release. Libra seeks peace, but Pluto demands authenticity. Together, they bring us to an edge where harmony is possible only through honesty. Hidden resentments, fears, and desires now surface to be seen, named, and transformed. It's not just to bring them out and repeat them or, quadruple down on them. It's to transform them, transmute them. As Mercury and Mars conjoin in Scorpio, conversations are direct and deep, possibly even aggressive. This lunation, because again, you have Mercury, how we think and speak, our words, how we communicate, literally conjunct at the same degree and everything with Mars, the creative force, the divine masculine, how we take action. So as Mercury and Mars conjoin in Scorpio, conversations are direct and deep, possibly even aggressive. This lunation reminds us that we can only experience real intimacy when we tell the truth without shying away from confrontation. This is about being our authentic selves and just I am. It's not about running roughshod over someone else or convincing somebody of something or getting them, or manipulating them or any of that. It's about just be your authentic, true soul self. What's at your center. That's who you are. Operate from that place. From this moment forward, operate from that place. Etherealculture.com. Juliana McCarthy. Venus has just entered her home sign of Libra, forming a grand kite that's providing beautiful spiritual and emotional support while helping us renegotiate contracts around love, money, and power. See, this is revisiting things. This is what's mine. How did I arrive here? What are my what choices led me here? And let me perform a hard reset. Let me begin. It all begins with a clean slate, a blank canvas. There's magic in the air. It's time to blend with it, harmonize with it. And in between these transitions and these highs and lows, breathe, relax, enjoy, celebrate. because overhead there's a distance, there in the distance there's a voice that's heard round the world, and it's received telepathically. So we're going to renegotiate love, money, power, how we've interacted with it, how we've wielded it, so that we align with the purity of our soul. That's what Pluto is like authenticity. So under this new moon, the collective mirrors our personal relationships. The protests for justice echo our private reckonings with manipulation, subversiveness, and control. See, we're reacting to it. We're responding to it and saying no. In order to do that collectively, we must do it individually first. We must recognize, where have we been manipulative? Where have we been subversive? Where have we been controlling? Because the collective mirrors the personal. Amid the intensity, the grand water trine offers tenderness and grace. It softens our edges, opening channels for empathy and healing. Even as Mars and Mercury stir passions and encourage disclosure, compassion flows and dissolves our defenses. So this is happening while there's friction. There's flow, there's water. It's like the beautiful babbling brook over the hard surfaces of stone and rock and so forth. There's opportunity for cohesiveness, oneness, gentleness. Some may meet new soul connections, karmic bonds that arrive to help us evolve and practice balance without losing depth. If someone's taking us out of our depth, no merci, no, move along, because then they're going to bring you down. And you can receive in an instant, no, that's not for me. I'm rising, I'm moving up, moving on up to the east side, I'm moving on up. Others may experience necessary endings. Whatever happens, the more we're able to face painful realities, the more we experience breakthrough and revelation. That clean slate, a clean slate in the blank canvas. If we've been afraid of intimacy or vulnerability, we're now learning how to lean in and reclaim the hearts we once closed. Relationships are in great need of alchemy and reorientation. Alchemy, magic's in the air. And reorientation, that hard reset, this restoring cosmic order, the blank slate. So, and the transits of late are helping us with that, guiding us to face our fears and make peace within them, transmuting our monsters back into wisdom and love. To help the world, we must bridge the gaps in our personal lives, melting the walls that protect us from the truth of our interdependence and our human longing for genuine connection. On this Libra new moon, may we confront what we've buried, moving through our fear with courage and grace. May we seek truth over comfort, remembering that real love demands intimacy, vulnerability, and loving ourselves enough. And we always talk about this. That was that qualifier that the unseen. Love yourself enough, love yourself more than. So, and loving ourselves enough so we can be who we are authentically without shame. It's just showing up as who we are, and how magnificent you are as your soul created you. It's only the ego, mind, personality, human that has overlaid or dimmed the light of your true essence, your soul self. So be willing to face, do the hard works, as Juliana McCarthy, the astrologer at etherealculture.com, is speaking to. This is what she's speaking to. Be willing to face these realities, these truths. Hone and polish your stone. Do these things so that what emerges, the Temperance card and the Magician, is that you're ready, you're more pure, because you're your authentic soul self, not some construct of what your ego, mind, personality, human created or crafted, which is, illusion. It's not who you truly are. If you strip all of those things away, what remains? That's what you want to connect with. That's what you want to follow. That's where the magic lies. Now let's move to Astrology by Lauren. And she is speaking about the new moon in Libra meets Jupiter's square Chiron. So Jupiter is squaring the wounded healer Chiron, and this is about how we're healing. She begins with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. "There are some things within our social order to which I am proud to be maladjusted, and to which I call upon you to be maladjusted. I never intend to adjust myself to segregation and discrimination. I never intend to adjust myself to mob rule. I never intend to adjust myself to the tragic effects of the methods of physical violence and to the tragic militarism. God grant that we will be so maladjusted that we will be able to go out and change our world and our civilization." This is about standing up, about being pure and good and true, which is who we are at our center, and not succumbing to all of this goo and the shadow, all of this lesser, which are ego, mind, personality, human created. They're not, they're not our divine selves. It's what we overlay onto that. And so this beautiful quote from Martin Luther King Jr. at Astrology by Lauren, that we'll be so maladjusted that we will be able to go out and change our world and our civilization for the better. So she says, we have a new moon at 28 degrees Libra, 22 arc minutes. And by the way, this is, I think, the second of 6 consecutive new moons at 28 degrees, each respective. So there's a very interesting anomaly going on, that the new moons and the full moons, there's like 6 of them in a row, respectively, that are each going to be, like the new moons were going to be at 28 degrees. I have to look to see about the full moons, but they all occur at the same degree of the next sign, of the sign that they occur in. So this new moon, a sign of equality in Libra, a sign of equality, justice, fairness, and equanimity. And we're talking about that restoring cosmic order, advancing into the beyond, this equilibrium. The new moon in Libra comes each year as a reminder to treat others as you would like to be treated. It's that first tenet, you know, love thy neighbor as thyself and thy God above all other. Well, it means how we would treat ourselves. Well, you would never harm another because you wouldn't want to be harmed. And so the new moon in Libra comes each year as a reminder to treat others as you would like to be treated, to show respect to others through small gestures of kindness, and to cultivate harmony and peace rather than to destroy the order and harmony of the natural world, restoring cosmic order. Staying at the center of the storm is key to Libra weather, allowing us to let the world wash over us as we attempt to negotiate the disparate parts of ourselves. This is about being in the flow, the water, washing over the rocks and the stones and the pebbles. It's not abrasive and harsh. They're one with each other. They're helping each other. They're nourishing each other. These kind of two disparate components or parts of ourselves. In the current environment, this could prove to be a challenge. With an opposition to Chiron in Aries and a square to Jupiter in Cancer, both frictional aspects, the aim here is for greater healing and wholeness. See, the unseen, the universe, as above, so below, the astrological energies, they're not messing around, because we are literally, we're not slow walking into the beyond or, what's before us. We are moving right along. And so this is wisdom coming from all these various components and from the unseen, readying us, weekly wisdom and insights, readying us for what's before us. And so it's about greater healing and wholeness, and to do so without judgment, nor fear of being judged by others for being righteous. It may feel like you are going against the tide by trying to do the right thing, that you may be characterized the wrong way. But we are being guided right now to listen to our conscience, to our soul source connection. We're being guided. That's why you should pay attention to your discomfort. That's why you should speak when others remain silent. That discomfort could be your conscience speaking to you, soul source connection. How much have you compromised yourself just to fit in? or for fear that you might be ostracized for your beliefs. Chiron in Aries, square Jupiter in Cancer, is about us having the courage of our convictions, even if we must risk standing out and being separate to follow what we know to be right and true. One thing that can become apparent with this aspect is that when we are willing to put ourselves in a position that is a little uncomfortable, I'll bet right, not only are we forced to grow, but we set the trend for others to do so as well. It's Hexagram 17, follow, be led, show by example. It's about demonstrating righteousness, rightness, not air quotes being right, but righteousness. What is true and correct? What is self-explanatory? It just simply, truth speaks for itself. It is. What are you compromising just for the sake of being comfortable and not rocking the boat? This transit offers us the opportunity to heal old wounds and to have, and pardon me, old wounds that have to do with rejection and ostracism. Freedom comes when we are willing to let go of what is comfortable to reach the farther shore. Know that with Jupiter square Chiron, to find your own spiritual purpose, you may need to step away from what is familiar, conventional, and expected of you. We got to step away from, or at least examine, the ego, mind, personality, human, and how it stacks up against soul source connection. This is what we're being asked to do because, again, in the new, matriarchal, Aquarian, we the people, divine feminine era, it's all about leading with the soul. And because we have led with our Piscean patriarchal divine masculine selves all of this time, and for 2000-ish years, well, it's a little bit challenging to face that and be willing to let go. But our soul, that true north, that golden compass, it's right there. It's ever present. It's ready. We just have to listen to it, exercise it, follow it. Astrology by Lauren. If Chiron in Aries is the birth of the soul's journey, that includes releasing old soul contracts that are limiting and no longer valid for the person you are now. You see how both Juliana McCarthy and Astrology by Lauren are speaking about looking at soul contracts and revisiting love and power, relationships, money, these soul contracts, these things. Are they still valid for who I am today and where I'm going? That includes releasing old patterns such as putting aside your own destiny for the sake of being accepted, or not listening to your conscience to fit in, trying to live your life according to the expectations and needs of others rather than your own, or going along with the crowd instead of trusting what you know to be right and true. The Libra new moon stands at the balance between light and darkness, where we take an assessment of what we have lost and or gained thus far this year, a year that is now beginning to wane. This is also when we consider what our next steps are going to be. It is a time of acceptance as well as gratitude for our current circumstances, as well as anticipation for what is yet to come, what's before us. And then she speaks about Mercury enters the shadow because Mercury is going to be going retrograde on November 9th. This week, Mercury is entering the shadow of its upcoming retrograde phase. It does so with a conjunction to Mars in enigmatic Scorpio, while also trine's a harmonious aspect, while also trine the true North Node in Pisces. North Node is where we're going, where humanity's going. Mercury conjunct Mars gives us the courage of our convictions as well as our voices. May we use this transit to speak our truth and put the right foot forward towards fulfilling our convictions. And remember about speaking the truth and the right foot forward. The truth. Not a truth or my truth or the truth I want it to be, but really reconciling with what is the truth and putting that forward, knowing what's right, righteousness, knowing what's right, putting that forward. This is about walking the walk as well as talking the talk, without fear of being judged for doing so. A plan is beginning to emerge out of all of this. Dare to follow it. And this is all of this, this beautiful Libran new moon energies, hard to resist, a major reset. This is what we're talking about. And it all begins with a clean slate, a blank canvas, and this opportunity to restore cosmic order, this harmony and balance. And Astrology by Lauren, she concludes with a quote from Stephen Russell, Barefoot Doctor's Guide to the Tao, a spiritual handbook for the urban warrior. Vulnerability is the only authentic state. Vulnerability, humility. Being vulnerable means being open for wounding, but also open for pleasure. Being open to the wounds of life means also being open to the bounty and beauty. Don't mask or deny your vulnerability. It is your greatest asset. And that is so very true. When we surrender, we are the most empowered. When we are humble, we are the most empowered. When we are our authentic selves, we are the most empowered. And so don't mask or deny your vulnerability. It is your greatest asset. Be vulnerable. Quake and shake in your boots with it. The new goodness that is coming to you in the form of people, situations, and things can only come to you when you are vulnerable, meaning open. See, we're emptying the vessel. We're decay, remedy, repairing what's spoiled. We have been preparing ourselves on this weekly wisdom and insights journey since November 17th of 2021. We have been guided, shown the way. We're being shown what is forthcoming, what's before us, and how to navigate it, what to align with, what to align to, what needs repair, releasing, letting go, what do we need to face, and being willing to do it. There's magic in the air, time to blend with it, and this distant voice heard round the world that we will receive telepathically. We'll know what to do. We'll know where to go. We'll know with whom to do so, with whom not to do so. We'll know. And all of this, bundled up in these beautiful energies of this Libra new moon. So until next week, we will see what's in store as we complete. We're nearing the end of 2025, a 9-year, this completion of cycles, and 2026, this 10-year, this beautiful beginning of really epic proportion and change. It will be, and everything that's going to happen in between. So stay in the eye of the hurricane, in the eye of the storm. That's Libran energy. And keep stepping rightly. Love you all. Thank you for your presence, your energy, your participation on this journey. And we will see you next week.